number 2. So for question number 2, we have a sample of daily sale of hot tea with the high temperature of the day, right? So we have two columns. If you look here, column B and C, and then what we need to do is to calculate covariance and correlation coefficient and comment on the association between sale and temperature. And then in the second part, we just need to come up with a scatter chart, a scatter diagram. We need to build a scatter diagram. We need to format it, and then add a linear trend line and equation and R-squared. So let me go ahead and just do it. So the first step would be to calculate covariance and correlation. Zoom a little bit. The function that we use for covariance would be covariance. So we have two alternatives, S and P. This is a sample. So covariance.s, and then it asks for array 1 and array 2. So the first one, doesn't matter which one you put first. Shift down, comma, and then the second one, Shift down, and then enter. So this would be our covariance, minus 15. So covariance only shows, we actually don't get anything from the actual number, so 15 really doesn't mean anything. But then the negative sign actually is a sign of negative relationship, which means that when x increases, y decreases. So they have an inverse relationship. And then correlation, the function for correlation is correl, and then it also asks for the first and second array. So this is the first one, this is the second one, C2 to C21, enter. So now, what do we understand? What is our comment for this correlation? So it's minus 80% or minus 0.8. So let me just explain a little bit what it means. So correlation coefficient can take any number from -1 to 1, -1 to 1, -1 to 1, and then so for correlation actually helps us to comment on two things: direction of the relationship, and then strength. So direction of the relationship, if the correlation actually is a positive number, it actually indicates a positive relationship. If it's a negative number, it indicates a negative relationship. Positive relationship means that when x increases, y also increases. Negative relationship means that if x increases, y decreases. And then, so this is it. For strength, 0 actually would be when we have no linear relationship, and then 1 and -1, these are when we have perfect linear relationship. So the actual number that we got was minus 0.8. So this would be somewhere here. So it actually indicates a negative relationship and close to perfect, right? So it would be a strong negative relationship. So I just go back to my Excel file. So this correlation indicates a strong but negative relationship. So that would be my comment, and then that actually answers the first part of the question. And then for the second part, I just need to create a scatter chart and then add equation and R squared. So I go ahead and select column B and C all the way to the end of table, insert scatter. So I need to design this, so I get rid of the grid lines. I need to add a title, axis title vertical. So scatter chart always takes the first column. We just gave column B and C. So the first column would be here. The first column, so X, column B would be X, column C would be Y, X, Y. So it puts X here, high temperature. And then vertical axis would be the second column, sales and costs. This actually shows a relatively negative relationship, but let's just add the trend line to make sure. Trend line, and then if you click on this trend line and go to trend line options, the last two checkbox here, display equation on chart and display R squared on chart. So you see it? Now we have equation with negative slope, right, minus 0.99, and then R squared is 65, almost 64%. So negative slope indicates a negative relationship. R squared 65, 64, 65 is relatively a strong relationship. So that actually answers question number 2.